China is absolutely livid as news came in yesterday that President Donald Trump, the best deal-making president in modern American history, struck a new trade deal with the country of Vietnam. I've got all the details on it right here, right now on American Advocates. It is my great honor to announce that I have just made a trade deal with the Socialist Republic of Vietnam after speaking with To Lam, the highly respected General Secretary of the Communist Party of Vietnam. It will be a great deal of cooperation between our two countries. Yeah, this was terrible news for Xi Jinping and China to wake up to yesterday as they found out that America, with the trade deal deadline looming being July 9th, made a deal with President Donald Trump and America. And the deal is sweet all across the board, especially for America. Take a listen to some of the details.
We're just getting this. Trump revealing details of his trade deal with Vietnam. He says Vietnam will pay United States a 20% tariff on any and all goods sent into our territory. He said a 40% tariff on any transshipping. He also said United States of America will have total access to their markets for trade. And Trump says we will be able to sell our products into Vietnam at zero tariff. Look at the markets. Maybe the market turnaround has something to do with that news on trade in Vietnam.
You heard that correctly. This is a growing trend with the trade deals that President Donald Trump has struck with other countries so far. You see, a lot of economists and a lot of people are reporting that the tariffs are all just for show. It's grandstanding on President Donald Trump's part just to force countries to the trade negotiation tables to create a better deal. However, many of us know, and we've come to learn, that President Donald Trump means what he says and says what he means. His tariffs aren't actually going anywhere. He really does sincerely want to usher in tariffs as the ultimate revenue replacement in place of likely income taxes for Americans for the country of America. You see, the tariff revenue that's being generated has been phenomenal. And what we have seen, specifically with the UK deal and now with the Vietnam deal, is that the tariffs are here to stay. Vietnam will be tariffed 20% on all of their exports to America. Meanwhile, in true Trump art of the deal fashion, he managed to work out a deal where we will be tariffed 0% on our exports to Vietnam. And for the first time ever, Vietnam is opening up their marketplaces to our exports. This is huge. Furthermore, one of the biggest things to focus on here is the substantially larger 40% tariff on transshipments. And why is that 40% tariff on transshipping so important? Well, take a look at this graph right here. On the red line of the graph, we have China's exports to the US, and for the blue line, we have Vietnam's exports to the US. Take a look at the bottom there. Now take a look at the bracket that you see where it starts in 2025 after the announcement of the Liberation Day tariffs. Notice the giant dip, granted in both of the lines, but specifically, look at how the exports for China have been tapering off and really tapered off compared to Vietnam, where Vietnam's actually has started going up. Why is that? It's because China has been using Vietnam as a secondary base almost, if you will, to get around their massive 55% tariffs that President Donald Trump had lowered it to. Originally, remember, he had hiked it all the way up to 145% at one point before deciding to be merciful when China finally came crawling back to the trade table, lowering it down to 55%, which is still very high. So China is using Vietnam as a secondary sneaky base of operations. President Donald Trump, of course, knows this, though. This is not something China hasn't done in the past. They've been doing these kind of shady trade tactics for years now. No one's caught off guard by it. So the 40% tariff on Vietnam's transshipments is a direct blow to China.
And one thing that this deal does, EJ, the 40% tariff on transshipping activities that China was trying to use, or Chinese exporters into the U.S. they were trying to use Vietnam as a sneaky go-around. Were they not trying to get their goods into the United States? And this basically throws up a wall, well, a very expensive wall in front of that. Am I reading that correctly?
Dagan, absolutely, and I'm so glad you brought this up because this is actually one of the key areas in which China has been abusing countless free trade agreements throughout the world. And what they essentially do is they abuse country of origin provisions where product that is subsidized in China gets dumped in one country and then it's repackaged, relabeled, and reshipped into the United States under the guise guise of being made in Vietnam or made in Canada, made in New Zealand, wherever the case may be. So at the end of the day, this is yet another way that the president, I think, is fighting for American exporters and for American workers by saying, no, you're not allowed to abuse these laws anymore to the CCP.
And so there you have it. It's a brilliant strategy. And once again, it just reflects President Donald Trump's desire to place America first and to look out for our domestic front, our domestic workers, and to make a great trade deal where we can finally stop being taken advantage of by these other countries that at the end of the day need us far more than we need them. In related news, the S&P 500 skyrocketed once again after announcements of this Vietnam trade deal hit the airwaves. Take a look at the S&P 500 activity from yesterday, finishing up at an even higher record high, $6,227.42 to close, wound up going up 4.8% yesterday alone. I have that marked. April 8th dip right here as well, $4,982.77 on the April 8th dip, where every liberal politician, every liberal economist, and every liberal idiot online was telling us that this was it. This was the second Great Depression, and it's all the bad orange man's fault. No, that doesn't look to be true at all, in fact. Why is it that these tariffs are still in place? Trade deals are actually being made, unlike what we were told, where they said that no trade deals are being made, and the stock market is doing wonderful. How's that happening? That's not what the economists said were going to happen. We're supposed to be in a Great Depression already. At the very least, we should be in a recession, and that hasn't happened. Liberal economists are going to have a lot of answering to do, in my opinion. Now, what they're saying is that this is a delayed response. Everything is looking amazing. I wonder where I've heard that before, by the way. Could it be on their global warming scam where they say, oh, well, first the world is going to really get kind of cold for a while, probably for a good 40, 50 years. We're going to go through a cooling process, but global warming's coming. Global warming's coming. That's exactly what this sounds like. The liberal economists are basically like, well, things are going to start looking really good. Inflation's going to cool. Gas prices are going to hit an all-time low. The stock market's just going to soar to record highs. Wage growth's going to increase. Consumer confidence is going to increase. Everything's going to look fine and dandy. A lot of companies are going to want to reshore in America. They're going to actually abandon their foreign manufacturing, and they're going to reshore in America and build entire factories and production plants right here in America, investing billions and in some cases trillions of dollars. But then it's all going to crash, okay? That's what you're going to want to look for. I mean, they sound like absolute morons. Not to mention the whole tariffs are inflationary spiel. Don't even get me started on that. For the longest time on this channel now, I've been the one saying tariffs are de facto deflationary. I've been right the whole time. I'm just going to finish the rant right there, though. If you like what Trump's doing, give this video a thumbs up. If you're a liberal, give this video a thumbs down and never come back. Go prepare for the second Great Depression that's never coming, you pleb. Subscribe to American Advocates for more.